Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to my channel. My name is Hailey, and in today's video I'm going to give you my 5 top tips to thriving in a community college and transferring successfully to a 4-year university. This video is going to be targeted towards students who are looking to go to a UC or a CSU because I went to a California community college and I am transferring to a UC, and that's what I'm most familiar with. So not that this video couldn't apply towards like private colleges, but I just think that it's the most applicable to those schools. As always, the key to success is to start by planning everything out and being organized. So my first tip is to get organized. And the first thing that you need to do is kind of figure out what your educational goal is. Your goal maybe is to graduate or to transfer to a UC or to a CSU or to transfer to a private college. That's great. You need to get that situated, and then from there you need to figure out what you need to do in order to accomplish that goal. So the best path that you can kind of take if you're looking to go to a CSU or a UC is to do a little research and figure out what classes that you need to take and what classes will transfer. And for that, I would recommend going on assist.org. It will tell you the major that you're applying to, specifically what classes that you need to be considered part of that major, and then what classes at your community college transfer, and that's for both CSUs and UCs. The next thing that's pretty important is to get a planner. And the reason I suggest getting a planner, even if you're someone who isn't like really into writing things down, is in college there are a lot of deadlines. Not only with like your coursework, papers, homework, quizzes, etc. There are other deadlines that you need to pay attention to. So specifically if you're like kind of getting ready to transfer and your application period is coming up, you are going to be needing to pay attention to deadlines to like get your transcript submitted, things like that, you know, submitting a tag, if you know what a tag is, transfer admission guarantee. It's not going to be given to you. It's something that you need to be responsible for paying attention to and taking care of yourself. So get a planner, that way you can write down those dates. You don't have to worry about like, oh my god, like, am I remembering this correctly? Like, when is this, because you're all gonna have written down. And it's always nice just to be able to make little notes to yourself really quickly. Another thing that I suggest if you're getting ready to enter your academic year is, if you haven't already picked out your classes, or even if you have, I always created a preliminary schedule for myself, not only for that semester, but actually I created one throughout my whole entire community college career, I guess you could say. So it's just nice, especially if you've kind of already narrowed it down to what you want to do, you know, just say like, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z in order to have this credit to graduate. I need to do these classes. These are the prerequisites that I need to take, and to have it mapped out by the semester and the term that you want to take it. And it's always helpful. What I like to do, just to show you, is my school always mailed these to us, and it's like these course catalogs. This is really old. This is from winter 2018, and it has like all the classes and like when they're happening that semester, the time and everything like that, and the description. And I would just highlight the ones that I was interested in or that I needed to take, and then I would make the little schedule on an Excel document and schedule everything so that it fit in. And that way, when it comes time to enroll in your classes, you already have an idea of what you need to take, and it's so much easier. I just had everything written out. And then the last thing kind of goes in hand with that is, before your classes start, especially if it's your first year and you're not really familiar with the campus, I would recommend going to your classes and like finding the classrooms, because let me tell you, on my first day of community college, I was not prepared. I showed up to campus like 20 minutes before class. Parking was insane. I swear to God, every single person in Santa Clara County was at West Valley College campus. I couldn't find anywhere to park, and my first class was a chemistry lecture and like a huge lecture hall, and I couldn't find it, and I was like literally in tears, like I don't know where anything is, and it was a mess. So in order to avoid that, the next semester I figured out where my classes were ahead of time. And it will get to a point where you're familiar enough with your campus, you know, if it's like your second or your third year there, like you probably have a general idea of where the classes are. But it's always good, if you're new, to plan ahead. Be organized. All right, tip number 2. My second tip is to get involved and to be active in your education. And what I mean by that isn't necessarily like joining clubs, even though it could involve that. I always say be active in your education. You want to be an active student and you want to take charge. So go to class, do your homework. A huge suggestion is to go to office hours, meet people, branch out, and kind of get involved. You want to be active in your education. You don't want to like kind of take a back seat and be like, don't really know what's going on, don't feel like going to class today, so I'm just not going to go, because I guarantee that you will fall behind if you do that. And if you are going to class every day, doing your homework on time, getting things turned in, you're going to feel so much better about yourself, and it's going to help you keep motivated throughout the semester or quarter, whatever your school is on. Specifically, if you're in the semester system, sometimes it can really drag on those 16 weeks. So be on top of things, do your work, and you will feel so much better about yourself. Another part of being active is participating in class. If you're anything like me, I'm super shy and I just prefer to keep to myself. But once I started participating in class, things really changed for me. So I've always been the type of person who sits like in the first 2 rows of the class, just because I like the teacher to be able to like recognize me really easily and know who I am. But things changed up once I started participating in class. Even if it's something simple and it's not like, you're having a full discussion and carrying on the whole discussion of the class. If you're just like raising your hand once or twice throughout class, it's definitely helpful. Your teacher will remember your name, and I'm sure your teacher will appreciate it, because a lot of people just sit back and let them do all the talking, and they want to hear from you. That's why they're there. The third tip that I would like to share is to reach out to other people, branch out, and network. And honestly, you guys, I can't even tell you the value of forming relationships with people. It is truly invaluable, particularly with your professors. And I would highly recommend, like I said, kind of branching off the last thing, sitting in the front, participating in class, getting to know your professor. But office hours are a great way to make sure your professor knows who you are. And a lot of times, if you go to office hours, you're probably going to be the only one, and they will really appreciate that, and they might give you a little favoritism, not gonna lie. Just an example, the hardest class that I took in community college was Psych 2H, and that was Honors Experimental Psychophysiology. It sounds really intimidating, and it is. Only 3 people in that class got A's out of like 30 students, and I was one of them, because I went to office hours. I swear to God, the only reason that I passed it was because I went to office hours, because the final project was a disaster. Like, I turned the thing in, I had no idea what was going on. I did it completely wrong, but I sincerely believe because I had talked to my teacher so much and he knew that I was putting in an effort, he passed me. He not only passed me, but he passed my project, because it was a pretty big percentage of our grade, and I was one of 3 people that he gave an A. So just a little life lesson on how office hours can save your life. If it comes down to the wire and you need an extension, you didn't do your paper on time, you need a letter of recommendation or what, if they actually know you and they have an idea of who you are, they're way more likely to give you what you need than if you're like somebody who didn't really show up to class, kind of was a slacker. So it really benefits you to form a relationship with your teacher. So the 4th tip that I'd like to share with everyone is to take advantage of your school's resources. This is difficult because a lot of times your school's resources aren't going to jump out at you. They're not going to be advertised. It's not something that everyone's going to know. It's not going to be common knowledge. It's not something that your counselor is even going to share with you. A lot of times you're going to have to seek these out for yourself. Most of the things that I'm about to say right now, no one told me. I figured out for myself, and a lot of times it was too late for me to take advantage of these resources by the time that I had figured out. That's why I'm telling you guys now. So the first thing that I want to share is a huge thing that I wish I had known about when I was a freshman at community college. And that is that so many of these California community colleges are offering free tuition to the most recent high school graduates within, like, I believe, a certain school district or county. So make sure you pay attention to that. I shared it in one of my other videos. Look into that, because first of all, community college you're already saving a lot of money by going to community college versus a 4-year, but if you can get it for free, hey, why not save $1,200, right? Second thing, also in a money sense, is there's a program at my school called Books for Food. What you can do is donate 10 cans of food, and they will actually let you borrow one of the textbooks that you need for one of your classes. So I would do this every semester, and I saved so much money. The only thing is, if you have a class that like you need an access code or there's like an online component, you're probably gonna have to purchase it. So some classes you're gonna miss out on, but for most of them, you can get away with this. Another resource that's really important, and I think a lot of people miss out on this, is going to tutorial services. If you're struggling in a class, most likely your community college is going to offer free tutorial services, so free tutoring for pretty much a wide range of topics, pretty much anything you can think of. And that will really help you out. So you can just drop in, go there. There's also, like, my school had a writing center, so if you're struggling with English, or even if you're struggling to write like your personal statements, personal insight questions for your essays, those are definitely some resources that you want to tap into. Usually these are other students who have gotten a high grade in those classes. So like if you're going to the writing center, it's probably someone who's really strong in English. If you're going to tutorial services and you're going for, like, I don't know, Spanish, it's probably someone who's taken the class that you're in and they got a really good grade, and that's why they're tutoring you. And then kind of along the same vein, if you're not doing so well in a class, or even if you are, I would definitely recommend taking advantage of any extra credit your teacher is offering. I passed so many classes with higher than 100% because I did extra credit. And even though I always turned in my homework on time, always did my assignments, always put in my best effort, it's kind of nice to know that if for whatever reason you forget something, or maybe your paper isn't actually as good as you thought it was, there is a little cushion on your grade. So definitely take advantage of extra credit. If it's something easy, do it. 5 points can go a long way in the long run. If it's something that's a little bit more involved, if you have the time, I would say doing it. If you need to go off campus, you need to go attend an event, it's still worth it, because it's always nice to know that you have a little extra cushion in case something comes up and you can't turn in an assignment. Now, if you are a student who is trying to transfer to a UC, I would strongly urge you to look into the honors program at your school. There are many benefits of doing the honors program. Number one, this looks really good on your application because these are more rigorous classes. So it looks good on your application because it shows that you're a serious student, and it's also going to help you out when you do transfer to a UC because it's probably more on the level of what would be demanded from you at a UC college class. And then the last tip that I'd like to share is that there are a lot of schools that have sister schools. So I went to West Valley College, but my community college school district was West Valley Mission College District. So there was another school in the area called Mission College, and the benefit of this is, say for example, I wanted to take sign language at West Valley, but it wasn't being offered in a time that worked out for my schedule. I could go on the Mission College schedule and see if they were offering sign language, and 9 times out of 10 they will be offering the class that you're looking for, and like I said, everything transfers over super smoothly. So that's great because you just have to go to a different campus, but everything's going to transfer. You don't have to worry about taking class and then it's not even like you don't get any credit for it. So definitely look into that. Okay. Now, tip number 5 that I want to share with you guys is to spend more time on campus. And if I could go back in time and tell myself anything, it would to be investing more time on campus. It's really beneficial to do work at school. And the reason is because that's the learning environment. I don't know about you, but when I come home from class, all I want to do is put on pajamas, lay in bed, and watch TV. And once I start doing that, it's really hard for me to get out of that slump. And I found that once I started going to school, and in between classes or even after class, if I had some extra time, just completing an assignment quickly, working on papers, whatever, in the library or in the cafeteria or even in my car in between classes, I became so much more focused and my work was more quality, it was higher quality, and I would do more work and I would feel motivated to complete the work. So that's a big tip. And then the last thing is, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, you're gonna feel way more connected to your school and you're gonna feel like you're part of a bigger thing if you're spending more time there. Because if you're just going home and going back to bed or going, wherever, it's really gonna put yourself in kind of a funky space, I guess you could say. When I wasn't really talking to anybody at school, wasn't really, kind of bonding with other people, I just felt pretty honestly pretty depressed about my educational situation because it wasn't really where I wanted to be. You know, I always wanted to go to a four-year university, but unfortunately that wasn't the case for me once I graduated high school. So when I was just going to classes that I didn't really like, coming home, doing whatever, floundering around, it was not a good situation. Once I started, you know, forming bonds with people, making a point of meeting up with my friends on campus, you know, even if it's something as simple as like grabbing a coffee, if it's something as simple as that, you're gonna feel like you're part of the community. And that's very important, especially at this age and this like transitional period in your life when you're trying to figure out what you're doing. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone who's entering community college, good luck. Hopefully this kind of gave you some direction and you feel a little bit better about what you're getting yourself into in the incoming fall semester or quarter, whatever your school is on. If you enjoyed this video, if you benefited from this video, please leave a comment down below with whatever questions you may have. I'm happy to answer those, and I usually get back to people pretty quickly, I would say within like a day or two. And share with other people that you think might benefit from the content, and most importantly, if you enjoyed what I shared with you today, please subscribe. There are many subscribe buttons, I think, over on this side of the screen, down below as always on my page. I post new videos every Saturday at 3 p.m. and they're always related to community college or transferring or UC or you know, anything of that nature. So there is a lot more coming for you. And thank you so much for watching once again, guys. Have a good one. Bye.